It's time for the Rose Chat Podcast, a podcast dedicated to celebrating the world's most beloved flower, the rose. Join award-winning gardeners Chris VanCleave and Teresa Byington as they chat with rose lovers and experts from around the globe. With each episode, you'll gain valuable knowledge and insights to achieve the rose garden you've always dreamed of. Listen now as we explore the world of roses.
Hey friends, today I'm joined by Tyler Francis and Brian Rhodes of Francis Roses. Now, Francis Roses is one of the world's largest wholesale rose producers. Brian and Tyler are here today to talk about something new that they're doing. They've launched a new company called April and Ashley, and this company is dedicated to bringing farm fresh flowers straight to our homes. We love that. Hey guys, welcome to Rose Chat.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for having us.
We're so glad to have you here. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was on your Instagram and I saw that Francis Roses had posted that the 2025 harvest was complete. So I was thinking, how many roses were harvested?
I wish a lot more. So, but we planted well over 9.5 million roses for this harvest, and so those were harvested and shipped, and we finished on February 16th this year. So it was a phenomenal year, and it was actually our largest crop ever. So it was a big kudos to our team, as well as kind of a historical milestone for Francis Roses and our impact on the rose world.
Wow, that's just incredible. Really, those are just mind-boggling numbers to us. So what happens after the harvest? You just all go on vacation or what happens next?
Now it never stops. So Francis Roses uh, has, obviously, we're talking about April and Ashley here today. We've launched April and Ashley, and we're working very hard on that direct to consumer platform. But we're constantly searching for new roses. So in a couple months, I'll be heading over to Europe to go look at the trial fields in Germany and in Holland and in France and in Italy. Um, and so we stay very, very, very busy. Farming in general, and Brian can tell you this, it's 365, 7 days a week.
I'm here in Indiana and we have, small farms and we have, corn farms and soybean farms and that kind of thing. So we know, it's 12-month process. So tell us a little bit about that, Brian.
Well, yeah, I was going to say here in Arizona, it's even more, I'd say, magnified because with our warm weather and really lack of a long winter or big winter, we're really growing something all the time, which is really unique in agriculture, for the United States, that we're always have something in the ground growing, no matter what time of the year it is. So we really are very intensive farming here. And the roses are absolutely fall into that as a category as well.
Well, we're happy for all that great work. Now let's talk about April and Ashley. That you had so much time on your hands, you decided to do something new, or
Yeah, no, exactly. So I think, the story really goes back to when Brian and I met. And Brian is one of the largest agricultural farmers or producers in the state of Arizona. And Obviously, we're one of the largest, if not the largest, rose grower in the state of Arizona. And so when we met, it was just a match made in heaven. Brian's got an
Mhm.
amazing background working on Wall Street. That I'm not going to steal his story, but working on Wall Street, growing up in Casa Grande, coming back here, and obviously our family has a legacy of farming. And in that legacy, I mean, if you add it all up, I mean, we have 4 generations of farming. And looking at April and Ashley and the brand and the platform, Brian and I put our heads together and said, look, we can do more for the rose world.
Mhm.
We represent a significant amount of breeders, and we have all of these great varieties. And we want to be able to, especially with technology and shipping infrastructure, we want to be able to offer a broader range. of roses, meaning cut roses as well as rose bushes. We also have some other plans for terrace roses for people that live in apartments, as well as indoor roses. And so, in order to do that and to leverage the technology that's out there today, April and Ashley was born.
Well, I'm right now looking at the website, and there's just stunning roses here. So I know that for now you have the cut flower business and the rose bushes. So let's talk about the cut flower business.
So that's a really exciting thing for us. We've partnered with who we believe is one of the most premier farms out of Colombia, growing just amazing, beautiful roses that they've been in business for a while down there, and just it's been an amazing fit for us based on the quality of roses, and also the ability for us to be able to get roses straight from that farm to your door within just a few 3 or 4 days. So we're early days in that partnership, but we're very, very excited about it.
And I think, I mean, just to add on to what Brian is saying is, we partnered up with Milagro Farms, Mauricio and Rodolfo, family-oriented business, and our value systems really added up and they matched. They're very focused on sustainability, so they minimize the use of pesticides in every aspect, and they don't just do that to check a box. I mean, they do that because they're trying to be stewards of the ground. They have obviously you're in the rainforest in Colombia, and it's their home country, and they want to have the best quality roses possible, and so um, they've adopted integrated pest management techniques that
Mhm.
minimize the amount of chemicals that are used, which is not typical in large massive flower factories, as I would call them. So that was really neat. 90% of their power comes from solar. They capture rainwater, and actually, as a testament to minimized uh, pesticide use, they actually have a bee farm as well. And so they collect bee pollen. And so all those value systems really matched with us and how we grow. And so, with that, quality is paramount in their business. And so, um, that was absolutely critical. But also, you talk about not just the quality of the roses, but the uniqueness, the newness. A lot of flower farms, I mean, in Colombia and Ecuador, plant a single rose variety. It's a red rose variety, and they wanted to be a little bit different. So they have a lot of garden shaped, what they call garden shaped roses, which are more the quartered roses, full flowered, kind of,
Mhm.
100 petal centifolia type roses that last a long time. And you start checking the boxes of, what makes a great rose, and fragrance makes a great rose. How long does it last in the vase? And we were just honored to be able to partner up with them and be able to share that with all all of the United States, quite frankly.
Well, it looks like it's very easy to go on the website and just do the shop now, and you see these beautiful, luscious bouquets. And I see that you can just get one bouquet, or you can actually get a subscription of these beautiful things coming to your home. So these are just very outstanding roses, and I see that they are bred to last in a vase a lot longer than maybe some that typically do.
Yeah, I mean, you made the point earlier that you're in Indiana and you have a harsh winter there. When I actually first got into the rose business, I came from a not so dissimilar path that Brian did, kind of working in corporate America. Even though my family was into roses, but we were in Arizona, I didn't realize that roses were truly deciduous. And just because Arizona, they always have leaves on them. So, but the rest of the country, it's not that way. In Indiana, for example, I mean, you probably winter protect your roses, and all the leaves fall off the trees, and
Mhm.
and uh, this gives you the ability to enjoy roses year round.
Yeah.
And the greatest part about it is that we've redefined the we've really leapfrogged the current infrastructure that's set up for delivering rose bushes, or rose bouquets, and rose bushes, but rose bouquets. Uh, the current infrastructure that is set up, and it was really a feat that I think we should pay homage to, because in any city across the country, you can go into a flower shop any time of the year and buy a flower, right?
Mhm.
But how they do that is they, cut these roses and they ship them to Miami, and then from Miami they go into cold store, and then from there they get on a truck, and then they drive to, whatever city for more distribution, and typically they're center hubs. And so, by the time it gets to the florist or to the grocery store or wherever, you could have 7, 10, 12 days of travel in cold store, but
Mm.
um, on these roses. And then they go into the whatever retail outlet it is, be it a grocery store or a florist, and they sit in there. So the way that I look at it is, you're going into the florist or the grocery store and you're buying a bouquet of roses, which is great, but you don't know how old those roses are. With
Mhm.
us, we're creating certainty, because when you buy a rose bush or a cut rose from us, it's literally harvested to order.
Wow.
So they go down and they cut, and they're curating the best quality. And I look at it as there's three different qualities. You have the April and Ashley quality, which is the highest possible quality that you could have. You have the florist quality, then you have the grocery store quality. And we've all seen grocery store roses, right? So small heads, tight cuts. Sometimes they open, sometimes they don't. But for us, it is the best quality uh, single stem that you could possibly
Mm.
find. And it is cut, and it's delivered to your door within 48 hours.
Wow.
And Mauricio really pushed it on. It's sustainable packaging. We minimize the use of plastics. In every case, we use craft paper. We don't use plastic wrapping around the rose bushes. And about 99.9% of the packaging is sustainable. So you can feel good about your purchase. But the best part is, you put the rose in a vase, and with proper care, they're going to last over 2 weeks.
Wow. Wow.
And it's, I've actually had flowers. Obviously, we've been testing and whatnot throughout last year, and I've had flowers last up to 4 weeks in my house,
Mm.
which is just
Oh,
incredible.
that is incredible. That just sounds so great. Such a value for your money for sure.
Yeah, and it creates that certainty for the consumer. So when you buy cut roast from us, not only is it going to be unique, you're not everybody can get these at any store, but it's certainty that you're getting quality.
Mhm.
And that's what we're really trying to drive, and that's why we're using this technology, is in order to create that certainty that you're going to get the best quality possible from us. Not all roses are the same. And April and Ashley delivers just, quite frankly, unparalleled experience when you're buying roses from us.
Well, as you describe it, you get the impression, these roses are picked per order, for you, and they're coming right to you so quickly. So there's a lot of beauty in that, from their practices and how it's done, that you're getting something very quickly. It's not a long turnaround. So I really like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, it's more personal than it might seem with the miles between us.
It really is, and that's part of our goal. And it goes back to kind of like, why did we do this? And the uh, the way that obviously we've been in the rose business for quite some time. Our legacy goes back to 1989. And what I saw was silos of people that work in the industry in order to deliver roses. You have breeders in one silo, you have growers in one silo, you
Mhm.
have purchasers in one silo. And at April and Ashley, we're on a mission of connection, and we are bringing, and we have brought all of that together.
Well, well done. It looks beautiful. I hope to receive some someday, so I may have to pass this on to my husband. So well done on cut flowers. I just love that. Now let's talk about rose bushes. We all get so excited. It's spring, although it is spring today. Today is actually the first day of spring, and we have a little bit of snow here in Indiana, but spring is coming and rose bushes are coming. So tell us about those bushes.
So, as you know, um, Francis Roses uh, is the agent for six major rose breeders. And on this journey, we've been trialing different varieties, and we look at approximately 350 different varieties every single year. Um, and as we're walking through these varieties, and they're all brand new varieties. We have our agency includes Tantau roses, and everybody loves, Tantau. Delbard,
Mhm.
phenomenal. Spec, NERP, and NERP's a relatively new one. We're really excited to bring actually French roses with kind of an Italian flair. It's an
Mm.
Italian company that grows in France, um, and interplant roses. So what I call these families, they're all family owned rose breeders. We've been trialing all of these varieties year after year after year. And our outlet's always been wholesale. And the wholesale market has a very narrow perspective on what works and what doesn't work. But there's a lot of times when we're walking by a plant and we say, this is a phenomenal garden rose that somebody could enjoy. And it just doesn't happen to fit in the mold of a wholesale rose model. It
Mm.
could be anything. The canes could be too big. Uh, it could be too tall, whatever the reason, that it just doesn't fit in the wholesale model. And so, I was sitting back with Brian, and we were talking about it, and we said, why are we not sharing this amazing variety or these amazing varieties with the rest of the rose world? They're asking for it. And we need to have a platform in order to do that. And so, April and Ashley is just a perfect platform for us, again, to deliver farm fresh roses, rose bushes, directly to your front door, that you can plant in your garden and have an amazing amount of success with it. And again, quality is absolutely paramount. So the we want the fullest plants. So in the industry, we call them grade number ones. But April and Ashley's grade number one isn't an industry number one. I want 5, 6, 7 canes on the plant so that
Mhm.
when you plant it in your garden, it turns out to be an amazing big rose bush right out of the gate. A developed root system. The roots need to be perfect and well established so that it works in your garden. Um, the 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 interesting thing about it, and because this is a very specific podcast, I really like to talk about this. When I was working with Tom Caruth, we were talking about how do you deliver the best experience possible to a consumer. And his answer to me was really interesting. He said, ideally, what you would want is the ability to actually plant a cutting in someone's yard, exactly where it's going to go, so that the plant never has to move. You would bud it, you would, do all the process, all the steps that it takes to grow a rose bush, and uh, the plant would never move. But obviously, that's impossible. So the second best thing is, harvest to order, and it's direct to your front door. And if
Mhm.
you think about the industry now, we harvest rose bushes, and it could have, I think, about five, at maximum five, six total stops before it ends up at your door. So it goes from us, and it goes to a wholesaler, then it goes to a grower, then it goes to a retailer, then it goes to your door. Well, with us, it's literally harvested, packed, and shipped directly to your door. So,
Wow.
not only is it the closest thing to purity with regards to the health and the cultural practice of planting roses, but we're also reducing the carbon impact of that rose as it goes through the supply chain
Mhm.
by approximately 75%. So you can feel good about your purchase, that your carbon impact, I always like to say, make a negative impact, right? Make a negative carbon impact with regards to buying roses directly from us. So that's kind of the goal, and that's what we've been trying to do.
Now, are these grafted roses or are they own root roses?
We have both. Some, this is actually an interesting debate, and I love talking about it because I'm an economist by training, right? So when people say, is grafted better or is own root better, the answer is quite frankly, it depends. So all roses graft, not all roses own root.
Oh.
So there could be an amazing variety that only works grafted and it doesn't work own root. So we wanted to be able to offer grafted and own root roses because, that rose shouldn't have to go to rose heaven just because we can't turn it into an own root. And as a matter of fact, we've pioneered tissue culture roses on the market. So this was the first year ever that we were able to provide tissue culture roses into the market, which are own root roses. They're actually started in an auger on a cellular level. And it is the cleanest, guaranteed virus free, guaranteed disease free um, uh, technique in order to uh, mitigate all those issues that you could potentially have with plants. But it is the cleanest possible way that you can deliver a rose bush. So we were really excited to do that. So tissue culture, own root, uh, regular own root, and grafted roses. That's a long story. So
Well,
sorry.
that's a good story, though. These are things we like to know. We like that behind the scenes stuff. We love that. I'm looking at the list of roses, and some of them are roses that their names are common to me, but many of them are not. And I'm like just kind of falling into some of these beautiful things. And so I'm wondering, as you look at these and you work with these, are there ones that just like you, they stop you in your tracks, and we need to know about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. And this was the other thing, it goes back to when we were talking about kind of the narrow perspective of the wholesale world
Hmm.
versus a broad perspective of the retail world. And again, a rose is no rose is the same. So there are a lot of people out there that like to exhibit roses. There are a lot of people out there that just like to plant roses under their windowsill and enjoy it. So we wanted to be able to offer kind of the broadest category of roses possible. And we've put them into three categories. So we have the rose connoisseur, we have the rose keeper, and we have the rose starter. So if
Mm.
you're new to roses, you can have certainty when you're purchasing from April and Ashley that uh, this is going to be a great starter rose for me to get into the category and to enjoy it without a lot of extra work, right?
Mhm.
So, I always go back to one of my favorites, which is like Miracle on the Hudson or Coral Miracle. Those roses are just phenomenal starter roses. I think last time we talked years ago, um, it was, the 20-foot rose. So it's a rose that is just a great hedge. Looks great as you're pulling into your driveway,
Mhm.
constantly flowering, really easy to care for. And then there's like the rose keeper. So I would put into that category my favorite rose, which is Marc Chagall. um, that has just an amazing habit. It might take a little bit of extra care, but still self cleans. Um, you know, another one in that category, which actually works in both the keeper and the starter, is Julie Andrews. This is one that we introduced a couple years ago. Has an ADR fragrant hybrid tea that is disease resistant. I mean, that is what everyone has been asking for.
Mhm.
um, Another great one would be like Pacific Blue. And I'm naming all of these very intentionally because these are all names that we recognize, but the names that we don't recognize, a lot of those fall into the connoisseur category.
Yeah.
So if you look at, something like, let's say, white or pink O'Hara, um, these are roses that we'll be introducing next year exclusively. These are actually traditionally cut roses. So, what I would call a florist rose. They're going to require more care. So, if you are a DIYer and you want to be able to cut your own bouquet of roses from an actual rose bush that was bred and created for cut roses, you can do that as well. We would not recommend that a starter go into the connoisseur category right out of the gate, because they do require more attention.
Mhm.
But why not share that
Yeah.
with the world? So we're really excited to be able to offer, Dance Party, which is a red one I love. I just absolutely love. Um, the O'Hara series, which is Del Bard, fragrant. Um, so these are all, it opens up that world to everybody, and it's kind of like easy, medium, hard, you know.
Okay, I'm falling in love with Love Fountain. Um, the
Yeah.
picture is exquisite, and you've shown it kind of in the garden, so that just makes it even greater. So that one just looks fabulous. Is it easy, medium, or hard?
So Love Fountain was originally created as a cut rose. So this is a florist rose that is going to be a little bit. It's going to require more care.
Mhm.
But it is an absolutely phenomenal flower. And if you care for it right, you really are going to be able to produce your own cut roses in your backyard. And um, the the cool thing is and Teresa, you and I probably do this all the time. I love going out to my garden and cutting roses. There's something therapeutic about that. And I
Absolutely.
go out and I cut, traditional garden roses, and I put them in the vase, and they only last a couple days because that's not what they're bred for. But with varieties like Love Fountain, you can cut that and it's going to last up to 3 weeks in your
Wow.
vase at your house. So it's so rewarding
Mhm.
that, I absolutely love that one too.
And to be able to share that with people, if you have a lot of roses, which I have more than the average person, just to be able to share that with someone, and it's going to last for a long time, and not be a quick here and gone. But that's just really special too. I have to ask one more question. In the fragrance category, who's some of the big
Mhm.
winners?
So I'm really I'm partial to Pacific Blue. I
Oh,
really
really pretty
like the
one.
fragrance on Pacific Blue. The connoisseur category is going to have less fragrance, but some of them do have amazing fragrance, like we were talking about with regards to the O'Hara series. Um, I do want to just jump back real quick because, when we first started the research and development program, we were looking at varieties like, like for example, in Tantau's category, we were looking at like Augusta Louise. Absolutely love it. And the interesting thing about Augusta Louise is that, and there's a whole category, the Ashley series, but the interesting thing about that was they're in northern Germany, right? So um, they wanted to actually create, and the reason I say northern Germany is because it's cold, it's wet. I call it black spot hell. Um, and they wanted to create roses that you could cut outdoors.
Mhm.
And so, Ashley is a perfect example of that. And what a great name for a rose! It's the name of my wife. Um, that is actually on the market as a cut rose, and it's on the market as a garden rose. So you can have an amazing high quality
Mhm.
garden rose as well as a cut rose. And so, looking at these and looking at all the different climate zones that we have across the United States, that's a phenomenal variety, Ashley, Augusta Louise,
Mm.
that we're going to be able to offer now. So
Oh,
that again, it's that broad uh, look at the rose category in general.
I now have Pacific Blue up, and oh my word. I'm kind of thinking,
That's great.
what did you tell us about Pacific Blue? It is gorgeous. Oh, super strong fragrance. Oh, there you go. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
It's a big plant. I love it. It is extremely floriferous. It grows really well in the heat. It grows really well in the cold. And the amount of petals that are on it are phenomenal. Disease resistance is good. It's not, Miracle on the Hudson or Julie
Mhm.
Andrews, but it is really good for having that much fragrance. And I first put my nose up to it and I was just like, whoa, that is stinky. That is got some fragrance to it. And it just knocked me down. And as a matter of fact, we were looking at it against another purple variety that we had called the Pride. And the Pride is a NERP variety. Again, another super fragrant one. And it, again, goes back to why April and Ashley's around is because we were choosing which one's better, which one's better, and they're both phenomenal. So we're going to be offering the Pride next year. And so we're really excited about that.
Oh, this is exciting. So exciting. So as you travel around, you're seeing all of these things. Are there particular trends, or are we just in love with all roses? Or I've heard that people are more into red than they were at one time, and we've had the Coco Loco type colors for a while.
Mhm.
So is there anything new that you're seeing in the trend world?
It depends again on who the consumer is. Taste and preferences change constantly, but taste and preferences are also segmented amongst the population. So the North might like something better than the South, or the South, vice versa. The West Coast or the East Coast. And we're trying to be able to offer varieties that are going to fit into trends that are regional. So, what I've seen coming out, and again, the best part of my job is walking the seedling block when they're
Mm.
first in the United States for the very first time.
Yes.
And the 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 interesting thing is you're walking a research field is you start to see the breeder's interpretation of nature in the variety of the rose. And I'm actually now, because we've been doing this for so long, able to spot pretty accurately, it's 7, 8 times out of 10, who bred that rose, just because I can see what their interpretation of the rose is. For example, Interplant. Interplant has these amazing Persica varieties. We have one available on April and Ashley. It's the Babylon series. And, um, you know, when I saw that eye just popping out at you, it was absolutely just totally unique. And with him, um, interplant, you're walking down, and then all of a sudden you see this ruffled variety. And so it's really interesting. And as we get more information from April and Ashley, we're going to be able to identify trends even more
Hmm.
with what sells best, what colors sell best. Pastels are very popular right now.
Hmm.
Um, and again, we are trying, this is a mission of connection. So we want to be able to identify those trends sooner in order to deliver what the consumer is wanting at a much quicker pace than we were before. We've talked about this in the past. It takes 10 years to bring a rose to market. So how does a breeder know 10 years before the trend starts what the trend is going to be? If we can compress that and bring the consumer along the journey with the breeder, we'll be able to identify that very quickly and bring beautiful new roses to the market, and hopefully start some really great trends. Fragrance is huge.
Hmm.
Fragrance is coming back in a
Yes.
big way.
Yes.
Um, Knockout did a great job introducing roses to the market again back in the early 2000s.
Hmm.
But now people are asking, I've seen articles in the newspaper, oh, fragrance is gone, it's not gone.
It's
And
not.
we're
No.
starting to see really fragrant roses that have great disease resistance, in a range of novel shapes and sizes, uh, with just uh, and colors, uh, that are coming to the market. One of the biggest trends in the cut rose world now is fragrance. You
Yes.
know,
It
I
just adds so
always
much to our
find it.
world. It just truly adds so much to our world. And uh, to keep my numbers down, trying to stay around 120, 130 roses. 2 years ago, I gifted a lot of roses that I loved because I wanted to try some of these new ones, and they are beautiful and they are fragrance. Fragrance is coming back and in a really beautiful way. So we've come full circle, and I'm just so excited about it.
I think, we talk about trends, and the thing is what, when I was talking about how you can interpret, the breeders interpret the rose, and they create that interpretation, which is, I mean, I think that's the coolest thing in the entire world.
Mhm.
But everybody has this emotional connection with a rose for whatever reason. Could be nostalgia, could be beauty. um, it really, the rose invokes a huge amount of passion. And we want people to experience that for themselves, and to be able to individualize their own trend, what looks good for them, and to be able to experience that. How do they interpret the rose, and how do they want to be able to look at it and be able to offer that? But we don't want to offer that through, just having 1,000 different varieties. We're going to narrow that list down, and hopefully be able to, again, through our categories, through the novelty of it, be able to offer that to, as close as possible, the widest range, so that you can find your own trend.
Mhm. Well, it's a beautiful thing. The hybridizers and rose producers that I've known, they love their work. It's slow, methodical work, but they love their work. And I just love seeing the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, I do too. And I can't wait, because we get to see it, so far in advance. When
Mhm.
we start seeing the fragrance come back to the cut rose world, that's going to be a great, great day. It's starting now,
Mhm.
and there is a lot of genetics in the pipeline. that is gonna blow your socks off. I'm really excited, and April and Ashley's on the forefront of that. And we're going to be introducing new cut rose varieties. We're planting roses right now in Colombia, specifically for April and Ashley that drive that fragrance. When you go, I always find it funny. You go to the store and you see the cut roses, and people put their noses to it. They never have any fragrance, but for some reason, every single time, even if you know there's not going to be a fragrance to it, people put their nose to the rose. So
Absolutely.
it's time that we start delivering that.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I hear that there's, a trend to grandmother flowers. And one of the
Mhm.
scents from my childhood is what I think must have been a hedge of rugosas. And so that is in my, I remember when I started growing rugosas and I thought, that's it. That's what I remember. So much of our memory is and fragrance are attached together. And
Mhm.
so this is a beautiful thing that we give to the world. And so I'm so thankful for the work that you're doing and bringing that back and bringing us so many of these beautiful things. I'm just looking at the website and I'm just drooling over so much beauty that is here, and getting to know the background, Tyler, is just really phenomenal. So I just appreciate you so much sharing all the background and, to get us ready for what's coming.
Well, I'm going to give you an exclusive right now, Teresa. So we are really excited. And this is the first time that we've announced this. We haven't gone out on our socials. It's not on the website or anything. April and Ashley is a brand of brands, really, with Francis Roses, Milagro. There was one piece that we were missing, and that piece was the instant garden. Not everybody wants to plant a bare root rose. And again, we want to give optionality to all of our customers.
Mhm.
So on April 1st, we have partnered up with Euphoria. Euphoria is a cut rose producer in California, and we will be offering a catalog of their connoisseur roses available for sale on April 1st on April and Ashley, um, where literally you have varieties there that don't exist anywhere else in the entire world. Some of the most beautiful varieties you've ever seen. We just finished our photo shoot up there. The pictures are amazing. It's really going to give you a great idea of how these plants will perform, the shapes that they will provide, the beauty that they will provide. And we will be also, so we'll be providing 1 gallon uh, potted rose bushes from Euphoria, as well as in the future, um, coming months, have rose bush availability year round. We are the only company in the United States today that has their own genetics, their own growing, and year round availability of rose bushes.
Oh my, oh my. Just the word instant garden, just kind of takes you to a new place.
Yeah, we're super excited. April and Ashley focus on, again, values and quality, and Euphoria fits that absolutely perfectly. And so we're really excited to partner up with them and to offer an even wider range of varieties to the market, and to be able to do that year round. Because, for example, in Wisconsin, you can plant a rose in July. Why not? And, we will be able to ship to Canada too. So we're really excited.
Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. So just when you think you've heard it all, you've got something new for us. So well done.
That's what
Well
I do in the
done.
summer, right?
This is what I did on my summer vacation.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, I think we lost Brian. He had to catch a plane, but Tyler, you've just added so much information to our world today and so much beauty, and I'm so grateful to have you join me today. So thanks so much, and all the best on all these new plans and all the beauty that you're getting ready to add onto the world.
Thank you guys. And thank you for sharing the passion and the dedication to get this information out to everybody. we're really excited to be part of the rose world, and we're really excited now to be part of the journey along with the rose customers and connoisseurs that are out there that love this plant as much, this variety, this species as much as we do.
And we do. We certainly do. So thank you so much. And friends, thank you for joining us today too. And for more information about the roses that we've talked about today with April and Ashley, simply go to aprilandashley.com. You're going to see some beautiful things. Well, we're actually recording on the first day of spring. And while it's been beautiful around here, we do have a bit of snow. But spring likes to keep us on our toes. But summer is coming, and we will have roses soon. And until next time, friends, happy gardening.
You've been listening to the Rose Chat podcast with Chris VanCleave and Teresa Byington, expert rose gardeners who want to help you achieve the rose garden of your dreams. Don't miss an episode. Listen anytime on our website at rosechatpodcast.com or listen on the go via the Rose Chat app on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Share this podcast with your social networks and join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by using the hashtag RoseChat. Join us next time for another edition of the Rose Chat podcast. The Rose Chat podcast is a production of the Rose Chat Media Group, Birmingham, Alabama.